What is up, everyone? Welcome to Tilt the Top for our official Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness spoiler review. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Now, in this review, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hit some bullet points throughout the movie and then give my final thoughts. And so, let's go. So, we open up with this incredibly, just fast paced opening where you got American Chavez and it's like some sort of supreme, not, I don't know if it's Supreme Strange, but a variant of Strange, getting chased by this monster. And they're trying to get to this book that we don't really know what it is yet. Monster's about to catch them. America is just like, she freaks out, she screams, opens up a portal. Well, first, right before that, Doctor Strange is about to steal her powers. But she opens up this portal, gets sucked out of there. Strange gets hit with the monster, and she gets sucked out with her. And then they end up on our Earth. So here we catch up with our Doctor Strange after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. We meet up with him as he's waking up as if he was just dreaming everything that we just saw. And he's getting ready, he's getting all suited up, goes to church, and ends up he's at Christine's wedding. And they have an awkward conversation, and he's kind of like, oh, that's blah, blah, like, he doesn't say he always loved her, but he's like, oh, it could have been different between us. And then she's like, nah, it couldn't have been because you're selfish. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, I hope you're happy. And then big monster, or big sounds outside, and he gets alerted, jumps off the balcony, whoosh, whoosh, throws the cape on, and now we're fighting. He sees he sees nothing, like picking up a bus, and then he does a little spitty splooty spell, and we see a version, or it's different monster than the monster that was chasing America before, and he sees this happening. He opens up the bus with some cool effects and sees her dangling in there and pulls her out. But then this scene goes on to kill the monster with some super cool, like, magic hands. Grabs a pole, hits the monster right through the eyes. Very reminiscent, though. Like, there's a scene where the monster is crawling up a building. Very, very reminiscent of Doc Ock. There's, like, a few kind of those, like, almost Spider-Man 2 callbacks, it feels like, with Sam Raimi directing this. Like, when the monster's crawling up the building, and it's very reminiscent when Doc Ock did it in Spider-Man 2. So they end up killing the monster and getting away, and then she's like, oh, I've met Doctor Strange before, and he's like, what, blah, blah, and then they end up on top of the building, and there's a dead Doctor Strange there. He buries the Doctor Strange up on top of the building in some brick rock garden thing. Very convenient that it's there, but hey, it's pretty cool. And then he goes to Wong, or him and Wong's already there. He's helped fighting him. We see some badass action for Wong at this part. And then Wong and Strange like, hey, what are we going to do? This is some serious magic. Who do we know that does magic? Oh, hey, let's go to Wanda. We go meet up with Wanda. We meet up with her while she's with her kid. She wakes up. Oh, it was just a dream. And it turns out her whole reality is basically a dream because Strange gets there and he's like, hey, yeah, we need your help. And then she's like, oh, yeah, you could just bring America here. And then he's like, hey, or she's like, hey, you never said her name, did you? And he's like, oh, no, I never said her name. Everything up to this point, I'm really on board for. I'm along for the ride. A lot is happening super fast. So I'm not like, nothing has really taken me out of it besides the talk between Christine and Strange felt a little awkward to me. But a lot of their scenes together in this movie felt that way to me, but we'll get there a little later. Turns out that this whole place where Wanda is staying, she's made up. And she's actually the one that's been sending the monsters after America. And Strange is like, oh man, this kind of sucks, right? But she's like, hey, just give me her so I could go be with my kids in a world that I want to be in a universe I could be in. I'll leave everybody alone. Everything's cool. I've been reasonable to this point with what I've been doing. I've just been going after her. Strange's like, nope, can't do that. So she's like, do it or you'll see me being unreasonable. And he's like, can't do that. So he takes off. He goes. They grab America. They all end up at a Kamartage, basically like, okay, we need to keep her here. We need to protect her. They know Wanda's going to come. Wanda comes, big giant smoke clouds everywhere. All the sorcerers have their cool little shields up. She's like, one last chance. Strange goes up there. They talk. She's like, give me her. He's like, nah, I'm sorry. It's not happening. And she's like, all right, fine. And then this is where she kind of stops being reasonable. She's like, all right, fine. I'm going to do what I need to do to get her. And this is when we start seeing her kind of unleashing her power, which is a pretty cool shot. There's kind of a callback here to Age of Ultron when she's trying to figure out a way to get into their shields. And then she finds somebody who looks weak to her, like mentally. And so she like whispers into his ear with like it shows it as if like a projection of her standing right behind him, telling him to run, kind of mind controlling him. And he runs off, and that starts collapsing the shield that they have around it. So she gets in, she starts tearing everybody apart. They go run inside. She steps on the little trap, puts up the mirror trap. And at first it's like, oh no, what's she gonna do? Very quickly, she uses her advantage where she's able to basically like reach through the reflections of the mirrors, and she's grabbing people out into the world and pulling them in or killing them or whatever she's doing. This is like, you're really starting to see at this point her kind of unleashing her powers more and more. And you're seeing a lot more of the Raimi directing influence, which I was there for. When she crawled out and her body's all twisted up like she's the girl from The Ring or The Grudge, one of those ones, and she and stands up, and you're like, okay, this is, things getting pretty serious, right? So America, she screams again. She can't control her powers, but when she gets really freaked out, she screams and opens up the perfectly star-shaped portal and shoots her to a different universe, which her and Doctor Strange went through this portal. And then I believe, this might not be the part, but I believe this is the part where it shows him shooting through like, I don't know, 5 to 10 different universes. And it was cool, but I really wish that we would have got more time spent in different universes than just the couple that we spent some time in. I mean, we spent time in what, like 3-4 universes or something like that? There's like the Illuminati one, ours, the like evil Doctor Strange universe, and that was like really it off the top of my head that they spent any real time in. So that was one thing that I would have liked to see more of. Anyway, they end up in the Illuminati universe where they come across the statue of Strange saying that he died fighting Thanos, and then they go in or they get drugged and they get arrested. Then they wake up and they're in this special cell. Strange is wearing handcuffs, can't do anything. We see the Ultron bots come up, and then we see different universes Christine, which this Christine within this Illuminati building was one of the biggest flaws I had with the whole movie, actually, because a lot of her reasoning did not make sense to me. Felt just like, okay, this is what we need her to do for the movie. So, which, I mean, it's a movie. Everything's like that, but it just felt really forced in certain. So, Strange gets brought up to the Illuminati. So first, we're kind of like, Strange is brought in by the Ultron bots, and we see Mordo shoots over to Black Bolt, which is the same actor who played him in the Inhuman show. I never watched. That's like one of the few Marvel stuff I haven't taken in, but because I heard it wasn't good. So this is where we see Captain Marvel, and she's played by Lashana Lynch, who played Rambo in the Captain Marvel movie, the elder Rambo, not the one in WandaVision. Man, we get John Krasinski as Mr. Reed, Dr. Reed, Mr. Fantastic, which I thought would happen. So I was glad to see that. Then Professor X rolls in with that 90s X-Men theme song playing, that dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh man, that was hype. I loved it. So anyway, real quick, they're like, hey, we're not worried about this witch of yours. We're worried about you, because Doctor Strange is a dangerous guy. And Doctor Strange's like, you should be kind of worried about this witch. I don't think you really understand. And they're like, nah, we're the Illuminati. We got this. Don't worry about it. And then she shows up, and they're like, all right, you guys stay here. We're going to go handle her real quick. So they hop out there. Mr. Fantastic's like, hey, Wanda, you can't do this. And then she's like, hey, you got kids? He's like, yeah, I got kids. I understand. You know, this could be tough. And then she's like, do kids have a mother? He's like, yeah, they have a mother. And she's like, good, because there'll be somebody to raise them when I turn you into spaghetti noodles. And then, so she kills Black Bolt, pops his, like, he shuts his mouth, pops his brain, Mr. Fantastic turns into spaghetti noodles and his head pops like a balloon. She just rips through all of them, right? And at first when this started happening, I was like, really? Like that? But then I've come to love that part because it really shows how powerful Wanda is. And at this point, this is where it's like no turning back, ruthless. She is the bad guy, which I didn't fully see coming. I thought that there was going to be some sort of switch somewhere in the movie and she was going to help defeat a bigger baddie. But no, at this point, she's the Terminator. She's on a single mission to get America. She's walking through, destroying everything that gets in her way, and I am here for it. Especially with the rainy direction and everything. Everything's working perfect for me. So Doctor Strange fights Mordo. He gets unleashed from the handcuffs. So America gets out on her own because she starts getting scared, so she punches the glass and realizes that she could break it. Then Strange, they all get back together and they're running from Wanda. And then there's a part where they're stopped. And Strange is still wearing one of the handcuffs. And he's like, hey, I need you to get this off of me, basically, so that I can... And you need to tell me what the book is so that we could defeat her. And at this point, Christine's like, I don't know if I can trust you. She just saw her whole Illuminati group get torn apart, including Professor X, who tried to hop into Wanda's brain to unleash the good Wanda. And she just popped his brain, too. Like, it's like, come on, Christine. You see what's going on here. Do what you need to do. A couple little nitpicky things like that bug me about this movie. They get to where the book is. I forget what the book is called off the top of my head, but they get to where it is, like the alternate version, or it's like the good version of the Darkhold. But there's one of them where there's Darkholds in countless universes. There's one of these books, but it could like unlimited power. Seems like it could counterbalance the Darkhold like nothing. They get to this book. Strange grabs it, but Wanda ends up destroying it. It's like, what happens here? It's like America opens up a portal, and she's about to go through it, but like Strange and Christine get through it first. And right when America's about to go through it, Wanda grabs her, sucks her back. So Strange and Christine end up in a different universe, and Wanda is like holding America up like a puppet and opens a universe back to our world, which earlier our Darkhold book got destroyed. And this was another part too where Wong is like, I'll never tell you where there's like a mountain where all the Darkhold is inscribed into the walls and everything. It's like basically like a palace for the Darkhold. Wong's like, I'll never tell you where that is. And then she's like, well, what if I torture a couple of your friends and a couple of the guys who were in the rubble? Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you exactly where it is. I'll take you there and help you do everything you need. Very quickly. I feel like if this was actually a situation, it'd be like, I'm sorry, guys, but I gotta protect the universe. But Wong caves in pretty quickly with that one. So Wanda takes America back to the palace, puts her on the magic-y thing, and starts to cast the spell. Apparently the spell takes a little bit of time to do, so she starts doing her thing. We cut back to Strange and Christine back on this world where two universes have collided on top of each other. So everything's all crazy, warpy, like kind of Inception-y almost. They're looking for this world Strange to try to get back. They find him. He's evil Strange. Apparently he's been killing other Doctor Stranges. So they have this interesting music note fight, which I was cool with it, but it didn't super work for me. And then our Doctor Strange up throwing evil Doctor Strange, who has a third eye, by the way, throws him out the window. He lands on a fence posting and dies. And so our Doctor Strange's like, okay, this Doctor Strange has a Darkhold, which our Doctor Strange was trying to get from that guy. And he's like, I have to use it. He's like, and this is the only choice we have because we're stuck in this universe and this is the only thing we have. So he does the dream walking. He's like, hey, I need to get back to our world to save America. And Christine's like, how can you do that? He's like, I'm going to dream walk. Or doesn't there need to be another Doctor Stranger? And he's like, yeah, but who says they need to be alive? So he dreams walk into zombie Doctor Strange, right? And he's like, you get very like Sam Raimi movements. This like from here on out, it's like full blown Sam Raimi movie, like Sam Raimi horror movie. Zombie Strange portals over to the super mountain the evil mountain. But he's still like, apparently the sorcerers can only get so far, which we learned earlier in the movie. And Strange's like, hey, how do I get all the way over there? The like demons of the Darkhold start coming out and start like sucking him, taking him down, because what he's doing is against the laws of the book or whatever. But Christina's like, hey, you're the sorcerer, you're Doctor Strange. And then he's like, oh yeah. So Doctor Strange is like, yeah. And then he basically takes over all these demons, turns him into like a giant demon wing cape thingy, and he flies up to the mountain, and him and Wanda is having their last little battle, and she gets rid of his demons. But at this point, Strange has done some damage to her, and then Wong captures her in like a little shield ball. And so Strange has a little bit of time. He talks to America. He's like, you just gotta believe in yourself, America. You can do it. And America's like, yeah, you know what? I can do it. So the jump from her learning to really use her powers was nothing other than a line of dialogue telling her to believe in herself. But she does it, and then she starts fighting back up against Wanda, but Wanda's still kind of like, nah, I'm still too powerful for you. So what she does, she's like, I'm a thinker, see? I'm going to think out the box a little bit. She opens up to the universe with the Wanda that she took over before with the kids. The kids see her as she is, and they're freaked out. They see her as a monster, and she's like, I'm not a monster. And like, you're a monster. Like, I'm pretty sure what you're doing is monster. And their Wanda walks up to her as our Wanda's like, oh man, maybe I am a monster. This is bad. What am I doing? And then she's like, don't worry, they'll be loved. And then she's like, yeah, they will. Right? And then she's like, okay, I now know I got to do the right thing. So she goes back. They close the portal, and Wanda, at this point, Strange is a zombie. America takes off in a portal to somewhere safer with Wong, and Wanda collapses the mountain on herself. One thing I loved about this movie was nobody could defeat Wanda. She was that powerful, and they went full-blown Wanda power in the Scarlet Witch power. Like, the only way she could defeat herself, like the only way she could be defeated is if she defeated herself. I mean, which I thought was really bad at. So we get one last scene with Christine and Strange. I mean, there's other stuff going on, a little bit more other stuff, but there's one last scene between the two of them where he's like, I would like to be together, but obviously they know they can. And Strange tells her that he has always loved her in every universe. It was pretty sweet. I like that. And even though a lot of the Christine stuff didn't work for me, the ending between the two of them, I felt. And so then the movie's over, and then we get the first post-credit scene where we see Clea with it, which is played by Charlize Theron, played by her, and she is Clea, the niece of Dormammu. She's like, hey, universe collision things, I forget what they call them, and like, hey, we need to go take care of this. You want to come with? And he's like, third eye, I'm there. Oh, but the third eye popped up right at the very end of the movie when he's going down a little street walk and hears the music playing, and he falls on his knees and screams, and then the eye opens up. The whole eye thing, that eye being there at the end, the third eye, threw me off. I didn't really like that effect much, and I'm not sure exactly where that goes. I'm not super familiar with that, but we'll see. I guess Strange is more powerful. Powered up. Darkhold has a little bit of hold of him, even though it doesn't exist anymore, but he has a third eye now. Clea, Strange, gonna go through universes. And then we get the second one with Bruce Campbell. With earlier in the movie, Strange puts a spell on him makes him want to just keep hitting himself for weeks, and he's like, he just keeps hitting, he's still hitting himself, and then it stops, and he looks at the camera and goes, it's over. And then it's end. Which our theater got a bit of a chuckle out of that. That was fun. And then, so my final thoughts on the movie. Overall, I kind of pointed out some negatives throughout this review, but I absolutely adored this movie. I know there's some pretty big holes in it. The story is actually a little thin, but I was there for the whole ride. I loved Terminator Wanda. I thought Strange was pretty awesome. Maybe a little underpowered from what we've seen in the past, but it didn't really bother me, honestly, during the movie, because I just kind of took Wanda as being so powerful that there really nothing anybody could do. The deaths of all the Illuminati was like, whoa, I love that part. Yeah, overall, I love this movie. It's in my MCU rankings and like tier list. I don't have them 1 through 28 or 29 or however many things there are now. Got like S tier, A tier, B tier. This made my S tier. I know for everyone, it's not going to be like that though. If you're not a Sam Raimi fan, or maybe some parts of this movie didn't work for you. I heard some people didn't really care for Wanda's turn bad so fast, even though I felt like it was kind of earned from WandaVision. So, Wanda, awesome. Strange, awesome. America, pretty awesome. I'm really looking forward to see what we get next with these characters. Honestly, I don't think Scarlet Witch is dead. I don't think Wanda's dead. I think we're gonna see something with her again. I think I've read that she recently signed a new contract, so there should be something there. John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. Is he gonna continue to be him? I don't know. I hope so. My guess was that he was going to show up in the movie, and then after the movie, at some point, he's going to be announced as the director of Fantastic Four, but we have yet to see that, so I guess we'll find out. Anyway, see this movie. It's even if you're not quite sure about it, it's definitely a movie theater movie. Definitely an experience. I highly recommend checking it out. This is now I've made these new overlays for like horror reviews and regular everything else. Basically, gets a different overlay. This movie is like the horror movie of the MCU up to this point. So I had to use the horror overlay. Had to do it. Glad I did. Like, subscribe, comment, agree with me, disagree with me. What do you think about the future of these characters? Will we see Krasinski back as Fantastic? Mr. Fantastic? Anyway, and look for more from us.